Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. Today I want to do a review about knives with rather rustic looking, like medieval or antique looking blades. I have 4 knives. Actually one of them is no longer in production, but I still like it. And I also have one, well, I should say prototype mock-up that I designed for coming attractions. And we start with the cheapest going on to the most expensive, and of course my own design comes last. And we are starting with the Tac-Force Celtic. Actually it's an assisted opener, which I like so. Oh, very easy. And as you see, it has this dagger style blade, and it has this, I think it's more like a little bit of a crusader look on it. I don't really appreciate religious symbols on knives and weapons, but I have to say it is a unique design. Nice red and black. It's sharpened only on one side, even though it has this kind of dagger style liner lock. And the blade is actually a 4480A steel, so it's stainless, even though it is of course blackened here. But it's a stainless steel. Of course it's not the greatest steel in the world, but it is really inexpensive. This one in Germany costs around 19 euros on Amazon, and I think in the US you can get it for about $12. So it's very, very inexpensive. It's a lot of fun to play with, and definitely an eye-catcher. The next one is the Gerber Flatiron. And as you see, it looks a little bit like a hatchet, which I always loved. It has this kind of green-gray scale on one side, and it's all metal on the other side, also, which I really like. It is a 7CR17 steel, which I think is an underrated steel. I mean, this is cheap, but it probably gives you the performance of like a $200 knife elsewhere. This costs about $36 US in the US, and you can get it for around 47 euros in Germany. Also because in Germany we have a 19% value added tax, like a sales tax. In any case, it is a liner lock too, which is really nice. The action is very, very, very smooth. So it's a nice Gerber knife quality. I like the blade. I like that it's hollow ground. I always loved hollow ground blades for some reason. Of course, it's not great for stabbing, but I don't really want to stab a lot of things with it. But for the cutting, it's really good. Also, I like that it has this kind of false edge here. So this gives you a lot of control for like close carving. I like that when blades have that. All in all, I think for the money it's a really, really good knife. I can definitely recommend it. And it looks cool. Okay, the next in line is the cold steel Immortal. And I think it is really designed after the Roman gladius sword, because you could see the distinctive blade shape, which is wider here than it is here. It's sharp on only one side, which makes sense, otherwise you would cut yourself mightily with it. It also has this kind of scale design that you can find on a gladius, so it's really nice. It is very, very top heavy, like front heavy, so point of balance is like almost here, so which gives it a little bit of a funny feeling. The blade is really quality. I think it is, let me see, it's CTS XHP steel, which is like a powder steel, really high quality, and of course it's an expensive knife to begin with. I really like it because of the design and because of it's also hollow ground. I think it is a highlight, definitely. But it's not cheap. It costs 190 euros in Germany on Amazon and about $118 US, which definitely is not cheap, but keep in mind you get great quality steel for it. And also you have the triad lock, which is probably the strongest lock on the market. It is not as easy and quick to close because you really need to press it like this here, and then you can close it like so. So it's not as quick to close as a liner lock, but on the other hand, it's a lot more sturdy. And of course it has zero play. Definitely a quality knife. The next one actually is a discontinued Spyderco. It's actually called the Euro Edge. It's a Schempp design. And it's really a cool design. I mean, look at all these design elements from like medieval daggers and so on. It's also only sharpened on one side, again, which is good. It's also a liner lock, which makes sense. And it has beautiful scales and handles. It also is, what is the steel? It's a CPM S30V steel, means really high quality steel. Again, it's a powder steel, which means a super high quality. It is extremely sharp, but unfortunately it was also very expensive. It cost me around 330 euros to buy it. So for me it's more like a collector's piece and I wouldn't really use it every day. But it's beautiful and the medieval shape is just amazing. So really a super cool knife. Unfortunately sold out. Maybe you can find it on eBay. All other sources are dry. Now I also want to bring out a knife that has like medieval features. And the one that I like the most, actually, from design perspective, is definitely the Cold Steel Immortal. But it is not, it is front heavy. I think the blade is too short for my taste. I really want something heavy, like really a folding sword. And there's none on the market, so I have to design my own. And I'm pretty close to start talking to manufacturers to put it into production. That would be my second knife after the great success of the Razor Tanto. So, and this is my current prototype. The next generation prototype of the folding Ulfbert. Let me show you its features. Now, of course, this is a wooden prototype, so it has a few design elements that will be completely different if made in metal, in steel. But it has the same features, like it has a folding steel. And as you see, the blade is really long in comparison with the cold steel. And also it has just these elements here, so that you really hold it like you would hold a Viking sword or a Frankish sword. And it also has a liner lock, mine is of course from wood, so again this would look different in the final version. And in close condition you can see that actually the pommel here is a part of the handle. That is why the entire knife looks like, when you open it, like the blade is too long for the handle. And this is an optical illusion, because the pommel still is a part of the scales. This is, I think, the coolest feature of it. And also it is fairly thick. This blade would be 8 millimeters thick in the end, like twice as thick of a very thick knife blade for like a folder. Typically most knife blades are 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters, and in rare cases 4 millimeters. But this will be 8 millimeters. Actually thicker than a medieval sword. This means it will have great balance, even though of course it's short, and portable, since in folded condition it is still not very large. Let's compare the size to the Immortal. So in closed condition, of course, you can see that the folding Ulfbert is a lot longer, but in actually, you know, when you open the blade and you compare the sizes of the blade, it becomes very obvious why that is. Now this is of course a much longer blade. This actually has a blade length of 13 centimeters and this is about 9.7 centimeters. So it's more than 3 centimeters shorter than this one. This already is a big knife. But also you will see that the pommel here gives it a lot more heft and a completely different balance. So this will of course be a monster of a knife, but I think there is a market for it. What do you think? Would you buy something like this if reasonably priced? For a low quantity limited edition knife, of course. If that is the case, then please leave me a comment. And if I put it into production, it usually takes a year until it hits the market. Of course, I will be able to show you prototypes earlier than that, but until it becomes available, usually it takes a year. So, folding Ulfbert, what do you think? So, I hope you liked this, because that's it for today. Thanks and bye-bye.